Greetings, everyone. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. We're coming at you today with an update from Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dolton, Ohio. One of the most insane corruption things that I've come across with these public officials, and I do not see for the life of me how this keeps continuing, how people can just let this go on. This has been going on for years. So let me drop the link here real quick, just in case anybody wants to jump up on panel. I will let everybody know my StreamYard subscription has ended. It's $240 a year, and I spent a year doing these streams with a subscription so people could join the panel, but it doesn't seem like too many people want to do that. So we're not going to update it unless people show a little bit more interest. Until then, we're limited to 4 people on panel, myself and 3 others. So feel free to join the panel if you want. And in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and get started with video here. We're going to go over a couple videos. I think I got 2 or 3 videos. Yeah, a couple videos. Actually, let's start with this one.
Hey,
now,
stop training people in person to make money as a personal trainer.
This one here is 2 former Coffee City officers indicted. And this is going along the same kind of thing. And I just want to show that this is not the only case. This stuff goes on daily in every community out there. This is a usufruct system, and they will use everything they can that doesn't belong to them because they have no material assets themselves. So the people, as far as the entities go, but the people that operate those entities, these mayoral governments and the county commissions and the state statutes and the federal codes, these are all people that are in a usufruct system. And none of those fictions have any assets. They're corporate fictions that can't have assets because they are fictions. The only thing that can have assets is something that is real, and that is the living soul, the one that operates or administrates all of these things. And so the usufruct system, they're regulating everything for their own intents and purposes. And so they will do everything in their means to take everything from you, and then throw you in jail if you try to stand against it. So it's very important to understand how those mayoral forms of government operate, the county commissioner operates, the state statutes operate, and the federal codes operate, as well as the ability to rise above all of those in an international forum. And that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with local community people that are taking everything from you because you don't know the power of being a prophet unto the nations. So let's take a look at this first one.
A grand jury has indicted 2 more former officers of the disbanded Coffee City Police Department.
Yeah, the latest charges are for alleged misconduct in Harris County before they were hired in Coffee City. Jeremy Rogowski has the latest development in his exclusive investigation.
Investigators say this latest case highlights the problem of so-called wandering officers. Cops who get fired from one agency get hired by another, only to get fired there and somehow get hired yet again.
And this is relative to this Tiffany Henyard, who has a criminal past and somehow was elected to the city council as a trustee, served on the city council as trustee for a number of years, making all kinds of complaints about the mayor following the order and construction of the codes and everything. And then she was elected mayor herself and now is pulling the same stunts that prior mayors were pulling that she was accusing them of. So she just took over a pattern of practice. And this is what it is. It's a pattern of practice. And you're the one that's doing it. You are the one ones that are allowing this. You, as residents and United States citizens who are voting these people in, are not comprehending your capacity and therefore are subjecting yourself as being subjects of them by voting them into office. And while Tiffany Henyard placates that she's running the city for her residents, demands that her residents pay taxes, and then won't give financial statements of her use of the taxes that these people are paying, and then turns around and denies the trustees access to those financial records, and then turns around and starts raising taxes, and also at the same time, while promoting herself in this office on billboards, which is an unlawful use of money for her personal advertisements. You people allow this.
The indictments stem from a 2021 traffic stop in Northeast Harris County after a citizen complained that Precinct 3 Deputy Constable Cassandra Garcia coerced him into searching his car for drugs.
The complaint was made to our Internal Affairs Division. It led to an investigation of the deputy and her conduct.
Precinct 3 Chief Deputy Kirk Bonzel says that investigation revealed Deputy Garcia used her Harris County email account on several occasions to send sensitive law enforcement information to someone not allowed to see it.
We have no idea why or for what law enforcement purpose this was sent outside of our agency.
And who was on the other end, the receiving end?
The other end of that email was an individual by the name of John Jocelyn.
Who is John Jocelyn? He bounced around between 22 different police departments in his nearly 30-year law enforcement career.
That is pathetic. How do you people let him do this? You're the ones that call the police. You're the ones that are dependent on their safety and protection when they're not even required to do so. They are a commercial enterprise, and they want your signature so they can run security schemes on an insurance program that you give them all the information for on that ID. You are the surety, and that's what that ID says, in case you don't understand that. Again, you are the one that's allowing this.
2021, the city of Plum Grove hired him to reinstate its inactive police department, but court documents show he did not have an active peace officer license at the time he got the emails from Deputy Garcia. Precinct 3 fired Deputy Garcia and gave her a dishonorable discharge. But the very same day of her termination, John Jocelyn hired her on as an officer for the city of Plum Grove. But their service in the small town didn't last long. About 5 months later, Garcia resigned when the Plum Grove mayor fired Jocelyn for reasons including hiring without authority, failing to follow directives, and allowing Garcia to not return a city-owned patrol car.
Amazing how much they think they own. Again, it's a usufruct system, and once they get to use it, they deem it theirs. And unless you know how to get it back and correct things and get them out of there, have them fired or put in jail or prison, whatever, they will continue the corruption. And again, you allow it.
The next month, both of the embattled cops got picked up as reserves for the Coffee City Police Department. The small
Amazing. Less than a month later, they get picked up for reserves for another department, while other people that have legitimate talents might get fired and then spend months looking for another job. These communities are readily waiting for people like these like this to hire. And this is going to play an important aspect in the Tiffany Henyard thing we're going to look at.
Small town routinely hired officers with troubled pasts. And after KHOU 11 investigates exposed the practice, Coffee City shut down the entire department.
It's very frustrating.
Shut down the entire department. It's a pattern of practice. And the pattern of practice that they use is dependent on the pattern of practice that you induce, or you are induced into. Either way, you are the one that's doing the initiation. You are the one that's blatantly just signing shit because of belief without actually knowing.
Trading.
Chief Deputy Bonzel says hiring so-called wandering officers is a disservice to the community and the citizens an agency serves.
When you get guys that are repeatedly fired from different agencies and they're still out there walking around wearing a badge, it's almost a disgrace in some cases.
And
Grace. It is a disgrace. And it's a disgrace. What he's talking about here is it's a disgrace upon the community. And that means it's a disgrace upon all of the people of the community, because it's the people of the community, again, that allow this. It's you that allow this.
And there's yet another twist to this story. Last month, the Plum Grove City Council voted to rehire John Joslin after he threatened to sue the city for wrongful termination.
Now, you see what happens there. An officer that used to work for them, and they fire him, and he threatens to sue them, so they rehire him. Now, the everyday citizen that threatens to sue the police force because they've kidnapped one of their brothers or something, they turn around and kidnap the one that threatens to sue them. This is pathetic, people. I urge you to wake up and learn.
With the indictment he's now facing, the city council will discuss his employment at a council meeting Monday night.
Jeremy, I wonder, do either of these officers have any comment about the charges?
Yeah, Glenn, they're both facing felonies for fraudulent use of identifying information.
Identity theft.
Joslin's attorney.
And again, that's because you placate that you need an identification card because you don't know who you are and can't plainly state it with your mouth. I am one of the sons of God. I am a child of God. And anyone caught stealing one of the brethren of the children of Israel and making merchandise of them shall be put to death. You shall put evil away from among you. And it's because you don't. That's what says they have no problem kidnapping you, because you don't know what it is. Again, I urge you to learn.
He has no recollection of receiving the offensive reports and reason to have them, going on to say there is simply no evidence that John Joslin did anything wrong. We reached out to Cassandra Garcia for comment and have not heard back, Glenn.
All right.
The next one we're going to look at here. Greetings, Russell.
Greetings, bro. How are you?
Good.
Good. Yeah, well, people fail to realize these people say that they're a representation of the people, so they're representing you people.
Yeah,
is that how you people would want to act? And is that what you really want to leave our children and our grandchildren for their future? That's the value you want to leave?
Absolutely, and that's what I say. It is that identification is what the representation is, and that's a displacement of the true representation of yourself.
Seems irresponsible.
Right, you're putting forth a fictional character as if though it's you, and they're going to do it. You can do anything you want to a fictional character. You can kill it, you can murder it, you can slice it up, whatever you want, because it's fiction. You cannot harm fiction. You can harm, damage, and injure the people that operate and administrate the fiction, and that's exactly what they're doing. You're administrating that fiction. You got that fiction from the state. The state owns it, and they gave you authorized to represent it. But if you don't know what the representation is supposed to be, then you're misrepresenting it, and they're going to use that against you. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. But if you learn how to speak truth right from the start, if you want equity, you must first bring equity. That means you can't represent falsities. That means you can't represent a fiction. That's the falsity.
These people are no different than the wizard in the Wizard of Oz. The only difference is they're hiding behind a corporate veil.
Absolutely. It's called piercing the corporate veil. And that's by proving that that fiction is not you. It is in personam. And the thing is the license. And that's what the state courts represent is in rem, the thing. And you gave them the thing. Okay? So they're going to administrate that. In the meantime, you are still operating under in personam because you don't know that you're not the person. So think about this stuff. And again, I urge you to learn. Now, this next one is Mayor Tiffany Henyard promotes police officers who failed their exams. She chose police officers that failed their exam over police officers that passed the exam.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the latest episode of What the Hell is Going On in Dolton. As we dive, we need a spotlight in this video right now. The ramifications of promoting police officers who have failed their exams. Yes, I am not joking. This decision by Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard isn't just a blip on the administrative radar. This is a move with far-reaching and potentially grave consequences. So let's get into it. So I received this email talking about this story on Facebook, and I could not believe my eyeballs. But seriously, I really can't say that because at this point, there's nothing that could surprise me when it comes to the super mayor. So thank you to that special person who sent that message to me on Facebook. Dolton's dangerous gamble, promoting unqualified police officers, threaten community safety. In a shocking display of regard for the safety and well-being of the community, the mayor of Dolton, Illinois has made a perilous decision to promote new police officers who have failed to pass the police exam. To add insult to injury, the mayor bypassed the officer with the highest score, raising serious questions about the competency and the integrity of the promotion process. The coroner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you want to go to a nice family restaurant and have a nice, good meal, then you would expect that they would hire the best chefs and the best waitresses and all of that. You wouldn't expect that they'd hire the lowliest. You wouldn't expect they'd hire a guy that sits in the back and picks his nose and wipes it in his rag. You don't expect that kind of shit. Yet that's what they are doing. And you eat it all up, just like a family restaurant.
Cornerstone of any functional and just society is a law enforcement system that is both effective and accountable. By bringing in officers who have not met the minimum qualifications, the mayor is jeopardizing the safety of the citizens in Dolton. Policing requires a high level of expertise, training, and ethical conduct, and cutting corners in the recruitment process puts the entire community at risk. I'm gonna put the link to this article.
Absolutely.
A link to this story.
You put yourself at risk
below. But that's
put
crazy.
yourself at risk.
Imagine
you put your
living in
children,
Dolton, a community like many others.
You put your children at risk, moms and dads. You put your children at risk when you sign up at that registration counter at the hospital to give birth. You better learn to stop it.
Where folks rely on the police for safety and order. Now, think about what happens when the officers patrolling your streets and responding to your emergencies are those who could not pass the basic requirements of their job. This is not just unsettling. This is downright alarming. But first, if you are unfamiliar with Tiffany Henyard, let's do a quick recap. So there's a lot of tension with Mayor Henyard and the village trustees.
And I'm going to make a point now before we see it, but this is the gal we're talking about right here, Mayor Henyard, right in the middle. And she is not a mayor. She is a player. She's out there in public twerking and doing advertisements and dancing and partying and doing things you do not see normal politicians and community leaders doing. This bitch is playing a game, and you people allow it.
Many of the trustees have been battling Henyard tooth and nail for many years.
If department heads are told not to give us information and to see the mayor, then that's where we're at right now.
Okay, so that's not a true statement. And if they tell you to see me about something or whatever, you guys can call my phone and get it
Come on up, Joe. The
resolved.
link's down
We
there.
can play this game because I don't understand why y'all not paying an attorney, but you guys want your attorney, but don't want to pay the village attorney.
Even attempting to initiate a recall, which was shut down in court. But why are they going into such extreme measures to take her down, you may ask? Well, as it turns out, Henyard's administration.
And real quick here, I want to make a note here. Jeanette says, gonna need a midwife. If the hospital doesn't record the birth, they are held liable or are in breach. The thing about this, guys, you got to remember, people, mankind, the human race, is the only creature on the planet that somehow seemingly believes they need help in natural birth. And that is the placation that they are held liable in breach. That's an insurance scheme. The liability lies nowhere. It's natural. If your child dies while giving birth, or even for heaven forbid, if mom dies while giving birth to the child, or even worse, if mom and child both die while giving birth, it's a natural process. It happens sometimes. There's nothing you can do about it. And an insurance claim ain't going to bring them back.
Well, what I've seen, Keith, when I was looking into the master commissioner in the counties, the master commissioners have to have a SS-16 form, which is a certificate of election coverage under the Federal Insurance Contributions Act. That's where all these mayoral mayors and all of these people come from. And
Absolutely.
that master commissioner also is the record of accounting for that Social Security number, folks.
Yes. Everything. Did you guys know that your public education system is a nonprofit organization, and that's what the lunchroom is all about? That's from the food stamp SNAP program. They get funded by that. And if you're a regular person in the community and you do not take upon welfare benefits or anything, just by sending your child to school, that is a welfare benefit. If you have a male child that goes to school beyond the age of 14, that is a welfare benefit.
Why beyond 14? Just
Because
curious.
that's when they start teaching young boys how to fire weapons for the military service.
Which is
It's part
the
of
purpose of schooling to begin with. Yeah.
Right. You're going to educate them in a military fashion to raise arms. And at the
I
age of
pledge
14,
allegiance to the Constitution, all that nonsense we had to go through.
yep,
Where was one of you
absolutely.
radical motherfuckers when I was in the 5th grade? Where was one of you radical motherfuckers to stand up and say, this is tyranny, Joe, don't do it? Where were you guys?
I did.
Joe,
At 10 years,
I've been saying it all along ever since you know me, bro.
I know.
Yep,
I owe you an apology. You've been saying everything is a commerce system first day I met you. I owe you an apology. You were right.
yeah, this is something I stood up when I was 10 years old. I'd just been adopted, and they put me in regular education school again. And 4th grade, the teacher was standing up there where we were learning about Columbus discovering America. And I stood up, wait a minute, no, you're lying. There were people already here. How could Columbus discover America? And I turned around to the rest of the class and said, this teacher is lying. He's a liar. They
Very
sent me to
good.
the principal's office. Oh yeah. You know, you can't when your little mind develops spiritually and can discern lies from truth and is been dependent upon that. See, I was in foster home
Adults are going to hate you, right?
exactly. From the time I was 5 until the time I was 10, I was in foster homes, and I didn't accept the truth from nobody because you ain't my daddy. That's
Yes.
where my truth comes from. And now that I become an adult and I realized, pay tribute to no earthly father, for there is but one Father which art in heaven. That clicked, and I realized that's been my whole problem. I've been seeking to put my family together all my life. And then when my adopted family disowned me, and I went through all this turmoil and shit, I realized it. No wonder it's been my fault. I've been seeking the wrong father
Man,
because everybody else was teaching me to seek the patronymical father. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. No,
Yes.
you're not
Yeah.
supposed to pay that tribute.
Yeah. Somebody's
I pledge my allegiance to God and as a prophet unto the nation known as America or United States of America. I will give them that allegiance as long as they accept my consideration in the word of truth. If
but
they
that's
don't,
not American.
they are the enemy. Right.
Yeah.
If they don't accept my word of truth, then they are the enemy.
Oh, you muted, right?
All while careful to maintain good works.
Yes. Yep. Titus 3:8. This is a faithful saying that I will, that thou affirm constantly, that he who believed in God be careful to maintain good works.
Very good.
These things are profitable and good unto men,
I believe it.
and nothing else.
Somebody
Nothing
was
else.
asking yesterday, but we was probably at Jackson. The conversation was, we need some leaders. Don't we need some better leaders? Well, you guys fall on that shit.
Absolutely. That's the militia. In case you guys don't understand the construction of the Constitution, when you elect a president, he is commander in chief of a military. That's commercial.
Gotcha.
And you can ask Congress and every president in the past, is the militia the one that commands the commander in chief? Is the militia, excuse me, I used the wrong term here. Is the militia the one that directs the commander in chief in his operations,
Is that true?
administrating the affairs? Absolutely.
Wow.
The commander in chief.
Just put a P in front of residence.
Yep. You have to be a resident before you can become president.
They preside over a thing.
Yep. So let's get back to it.
Has been criticized by using Dolton police as her private security and blocking access to vital financial information.
We have to operate as a village. And if they continue to spend money that we don't have, it has to come from somewhere.
They want to spend our money and they want our vote and don't want to tell us what they're spending the money on.
We've been locked out of office. We've been locked out of systems, but guess what? We're still here. We're still going to do the work for the people.
And if that wasn't enough, to add some financial drama into the mix, we're talking allegations of fraud and financial impropriety. Reports indicate that Henyard has been playing fast and loose with the village checkbook. She's been accused of issuing checks with only her signature, bypassing necessary approvals, a clear violation of state law and village code. That's why there's a lawsuit there. So according to the village trust.
Hey,
Yes.
I don't know if you guys are aware. Since she got there, she added an extra $1 million. The security budget was $600,000 for the city. Now it's $1,600,000 because she got 8 fucking armed guards and off-duty police and shit following her around. $1 million bucks for her fucking security.
To protect her while she does all her advertisement, partying and twerking.
Yes, in the name of
what the fuck?
What's her registered agent's name? What
I
forget. I forget.
I don't know the resident agent. You talking about her lawful name, Maynard? I don't think.
Yeah, he's the one that is behind Henyard.
Henyard, that's it. That's this clown did. She did. She said she was gonna raise money for breast cancer. But all she did was did a political event like Wizard's talking about, where she did a bunch of campaigning. They all threw on pink sweatshirts that said breast cancer and all the signs with campaigning.
Did a bridge walk.
Stayed in first class hotels, first class fights everywhere, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and didn't, as far as they know, didn't raise a cent for breast cancer.
Yeah, $150,000 for a fucking vehicle at like 28% interest. That's something an 18-year-old does.
Right.
And
dealers do.
And this is one of the things with intelligence. If people knew what was going on and knew how to operate a bill of exchange, you wouldn't need mayors. You wouldn't need city councils. You'd be able to offer up your own bills of exchange to help the community, because everything is done on charity, and charity begins at the home. So how does the community receive charity if it's coming from the administration? It doesn't. That's a tax. And again, folks, if you think there's a separation between church and state, Wrong, because those churches are subjecting themselves to the state under a 501c3 for
C3.
tax. Yeah,
That's right.
that's not separation of church and state. That's the conglomeration of church and religion.
Look
Or
on
excuse
your
me,
greenback.
politics. Right, politics and religion.
Look on your greenback and see if there's a separation of church and state. See if the money you spend don't say in God we trust. And where's your separation?
Absolutely. Well, and that Federal Reserve note, folks, is not money. That's a security. It is
So,
not money.
I think it even
Like,
say on that note of debt, don't it? I think it even say
yeah,
on the
it's a
bill, this is a
right.
debt
It's a
note.
Federal Reserve note. A note is a promise. It is a tangible medium between the exchange
Yes, a
of money,
promise. Yeah,
which is gold and silver.
right. People forget that, and they encourage us to forget that, man.
Yeah.
But they don't forget because I hear they got tons of gold and silver stored.
Well, it doesn't even matter, gold and silver, actually. Gold and silver is considered an asset, so you can use any asset to equivalate to gold or silver. This is the private side.
I hear you.
The public side uses gold and silver as a base medium.
I understand.
Trustees, Henyard's spending habits have plunged Dolton into some serious debt.
We just look up and we're paying for stuff, and
Well,
it just makes no sense.
Let's look at this. Tiffany A. Henyard, keeping my promises, fighting for my residents, fighting for her residents as she demands that they better pay their taxes while
That's
she
right.
turns around and writes checks without authorization. They better pay their taxes to me so I can keep writing checks without authorization. That's fucked up.
She's just doing what she wants.
WGN Investigates obtained copies of statements that reveal village officials have spent more than $24,000 at restaurants in just 1 year.
We're not talking about small change here. There's claims that Dolton has $7 million in the red. Hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars are reportedly spent on security, taking police officers off the streets, and a lot of other things, like a really nice tie hole that costs about $150,000.
When at the end of the day, you're making decisions and spending money and then get mad when we don't approve it because it's not financially sound. I sat here and looked at a lease that y'all paying $149,000 for one of them trucks. You make that's like when you 19 years old and you go get a car and the interest rate 27%. That makes absolutely no sense. You're
Please
not
state
making
facts.
great finance.
State facts. Please state facts is what she just said. Watch this.
Excuse me?
Please state facts.
But let me tell you, here it is,
Very
dated December 27th,
Good girl. Good girl.
$49,146.20. The interest alone is $55,000, almost $56,000.
More than the car.
Well, the total cash price is $93,000. She got the top of the line.
Oh, okay.
And then the interest was well over half of that, almost 1.5 times what they were supposed to pay then. And again, folks, if you understand a bill of exchange, that $93,216.71 is supposed to be on credit, not money, not gold, not silver, on credit. HJR 192, Public Law 73-10, on credit.
To the cash price of a 2023 Chevy Tahoe, $93,216.71. Interest and APR, $55,929.
55 stacks in interest. They only paying interest for 5 years before they even start paying off the car.
$9.49. Total lease price $149,146.20. Tell me if it's not facts, because your signature is all on.
This is the scenario that had a lot of residents and officials.
Got her. Ooh, that was a good one. She closed the door. Leg sweep. That was a good one.
Your signature is all on it.
Sweep the
and when you look
leg.
at this, And when we look at that signature, you'll see it's not a qualified signature. It's a blank endorsement. So let's take a look at it. This is a blank endorsement.
All on it.
This
Tell me if it's not facts, because your signature is all on it.
It plainly says got an X and then Tiffany Henyard. There is no qualification in there without recourse, pay to the order of, by. This is not a qualified signature. It's a blank endorsement. And so what they do, this is a gift to the dealership, just like a gift to the bank when you go get a loan. If you don't qualify that signature, the bank takes that document. It's a security instrument, and they take it as a gift, and then they secure it by putting the pay to the order of to the dealership because you didn't. Comprehend how this stuff works, folks.
I think I hear what you're saying. Qualified would have mean she would have been paying. She would have been the person who owns the car. Blah blah blah.
Right. It would have come out of a credit account, which is the drawing rights you have at the federal discount window to discount what was accounted.
Yeah.
It's called a balance. It's called a balancing of the books. Greetings, Danielle. How you doing today, brother? Paying attention to the old baby, huh?
Shalom, shalom. Greetings and salutations. And that I am. How you guys doing today?
Doing well, man.
Doing well, Danielle.
We're gonna let you go ahead and pay attention to her while we're gonna finish up on this stream here or this video and stuff, and just let us know if you have anything to say.
I will. But yeah.
This is a scenario that has a lot of residents and officials and people all across the country ringing alarm bells about the town's financial health and public safety. Many people are accusing Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard's leadership style, comparing her to a dictator. Trustee Wyrd even goes as far as to say that working with Henyard feels like a mentally abusive relationship. So this is not just about dollars. It's about the morale and the well-being of those who tasked with overseeing Dolton's finances. But let's get back into the whole police.
And I just want to make it very clear here, guys. Notice the color scheme here, and this has nothing to do with racism. It has to do with power and control. Okay.
What's the color scheme? I see black and blue, like back the blue and black flag. That's what I'd see.
Actually,
right.
That's like her friends and family.
Exactly. It's her friends and family, which happen to be, of course, of the same color. It has nothing to do with racism. Okay? Despite the fact that you see nothing but the colored scheme here, it has nothing to do with racism. It has to do with power and control.
I wouldn't have took that leap anyway, because all of her critics are fucking mostly black too. So I wouldn't have thought it went down racial wise.
Well, yeah. If you go to, I imagine if you go to the statistics of Dolton, Ohio, they've probably got a high percentage of dispersion of the colored community. So,
I believe it's Dolton, Illinois, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Excuse me, and I've been saying Ohio. My apologies. Why I do that, I don't know. I'm kind of dyslexic. You know, it's not dyslexic, it's dyslexic. So.
These things. So if you guys checked out the last board meeting that the Dolton trustees and the mayor had, she was celebrating the newly minted police officers. The problem is that there's a lot of reports coming out that some of those police officers did not pass important exams. This isn't just about a few extra badges being handed out. It's about the foundation of public trust in law enforcement. And a lot of people do not trust the law enforcement right now. Whether good or bad, that's just what's happening right now. Police exam, just like any other exam, serves as...
And you got to think about it again, because this is a pattern of practice. The pattern of practice here of having a fraudulent or corrupt police department extends from the people that hire them.
I would agree.
Okay? So again, it's not just the police. It runs rampant throughout the entire system. It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with individual empowerment.
The police are natural order followers. That's why they get the low IQ shit. The people who go there, they are expecting to follow orders. They are natural at it. So think like Keith is talking about, who's giving them these orders. when you go up high enough. There's going to be some politician who's ever putting the money into Chicago. It's a lot of mob motherfuckers just plugged with the it's street gangs now that's plugged with the police.
And one thing I want to mention here, when it comes to these commercial venues, we're talking about the corruption, and that's always commercial. And with that, the qualified signature, what you're doing is giving equal consideration. Now let's take a look at the term consideration. Again, it's just like behave. That is not the proper pronunciation. It is behave. It's two words, right?
Behave don't make no sense.
Because they've been put together and combined. If you separate the two words, it's be, have. Okay?
What does that mean?
So let's take a look.
Come together.
Behalf?
Right. To have and to hold. It's a matrimony. Okay? So now, let's look at consideration. It's the same thing. Break it down. C-O-N, which is a Latin prefix, which means with. Then what do you have? S-I-D-E, side. R-A-T-I-O-N, ration, ration. What is a ration? That's a military ration. So we read it backwards. Ration on the side of military. So you have ration with military.
I thought con was the first word, and I thought con went
right
means
with
against. I thought it meant against. Like pro is for, con I was against. That is not what the meaning is.
No, it means with.
All right. With something ration. And ration, why you make that leap to military rations? Other people have rations.
It's all military. It's all military.
It's military lingo.
That's where it stems from, military.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's see.
We're still under Admiralty law, so we got to go with the terms and conditions of military.
I need that to explain to me better too at some point.
With, together. Con, Latin prefix meaning. The Latin prefix con means
right,
with.
I appreciate it.
Together.
Yes.
Okay.
So that makes, okay, like for instance, conflict. With flict? I don't know.
Right. Yep.
Con also means to guide, doesn't it? To guide a ship, give orders for the steering of a ship.
Like the
that's con as a verb.
You would have to show. Well, we could look it up in etymology, I guess. Let's do that real quick.
That's what I was looking at. To guide a ship, give orders for steering of a ship.
Yeah, I have the con. You have the con. I hear that in movies. Number
it's
two,
also
you
negotiation.
Have the con. Star Trek, you have the con.
Con as an action is to guide a ship, give orders for the steering of a ship. So to give orders of side rations. You see? Steering of a ship. To guide a ship. That's naval. That's naval. That's admiralty.
With ration.
Yep. So let's go back to it. Oops. Yep, okay.
As a crucial filter, ensuring that those with the necessary skills, knowledge, and temperament wear the uniform. And when this filter is bypassed, it's not just a procedural hiccup. This is a fundamental breach in the system that's supposed to help us. This is some serious real-life implications.
Watch your background, somebody. Thank you.
Yeah, so we have serious breach. He mentioned the word breach, and it's breach of contract and trust. A serious breach of contract and trust, both at the local level and international.
First, there's the issue of competency. Policing is a complex, high-stakes job that demands a deep understanding of law, critical thinking, and the ability to make split-second decisions in life or death situations.
And these officers have none of that. None. And you will hear them say repeatedly in depositions, well, I don't really know the law.
Oh man, I'm
Fucking
working on one
pathetic.
now. Which is, I was about to mention 3 times. I believe in signs and symbols. I'm working on one now. It's the deposition of I forgot what this clown did. I can't even think of the shit he did. But the guy is so dumb, he don't know the difference. Public, private, reasonable suspicion, um, federal, state. The whole video is just him. The guy's asking, have you ever arrested anyone on federal ground? He has to say, I'm unsure, because he don't know what federal is. Have you ever arrested anyone for trespassing on state ground? You mean out in the open? He said, I mean the lawful writing of the word, blah blah blah. I'm unsure. Oh man. Oh, this guy he came to trespass the guy, and he immediately put hands on the guy, he's like, you're under arrest. The camp so and so told you to leave. Turn out he's the guy who fucking private guy who washes the toilets for the camp. He like, I don't want him here no more. And the police wouldn't
Yeah,
put hands on him because of that shit. He's like, what was your
yeah,
probable cause? He don't know what probable
that's
cause is.
that's Lane. He just put out a couple more videos this morning. The
Lane
first one,
Myers.
yep, he put out a video this morning, and they struck him. They took it down. So he turned around, and he had already made a full almost 3-hour video, and he shortened it down and gave him a short video, and then they struck it. So he fucking made another 6-minute video denouncing their strike and clarifying what he did, and then reposted his private video from his own files, the full-length video. So, oh yeah, fuck
I'm
them.
going there because I'm editing. That's literally what I'm working on today. I just had breakfast, smoking some weed, gonna hop on panel for a minute and get back to the video. So I'm definitely, hey, wait. Look,
Yeah, and
I
that's
got this same shit my man's got there.
Yep, and that's what I'm gonna recommend again. Lane Myers. While we're on the topic, go over and check out Lane Myers, LaneMyers, Lane Myers on YouTube.
I'm gonna go see the one he posted today and see if it's anything I want to add to the video that I'm doing. Because right now it's mostly about the deposition of that guy, that cop, that young cop, Martinez, I think is his name, or Marino or something like that. And should you resist? And it was an unlawful arrest. Should you resist an unlawful arrest? That's what the video is about. And here's a great example because this cop knows nothing. Why would I be, doing anything to come out of his mouth? He knows literally don't know rash, probable cause, oh my God. No, I'm not listening to nothing you say.
Yep, absolutely.
An officer who hasn't passed the exam may lack these skills, which can lead to dire outcomes out there on the streets. Then there's the issue of accountability and morale within the force. Imagine a police officer who studied, passed the exams, upheld standards, only to see colleagues who didn't make the grade get promoted. It's a slap in the face to those who take their duties seriously, which could lead to a demoralized and divided police force. And this is where some of the reports are saying that there's certain people who scored higher that did not receive the promotion, did not receive these jobs. Why? What is really going on here? Moreover, this decision can open the door to legal and ethical dilemmas when officers who haven't met the basic requirements are involved in incidents.
I can tell you what's going on.
Not just their actions that are going to be scrutinized, their entire decision-making.
What's that?
Daniel, was that Daniel? That was you, right?
That was Danielle, and I think he froze up.
I'll say he might be froze. Donnie, I don't know if you can hear us, but you froze up.
Yeah, he'll have to come up. Yeah. He'll have to drop out and come back. We'll wait for him to come back. We're going to continue on with the video, but as soon as he pops in and wants to speak, go ahead and speak, brother. But you're frozen right now.
Process that put him on the streets in the first place. This can lead to legal battles, erosion of public trust, and a tainted reputation of the Dolton Police Department. And this is probably the most chilling and sad consequence when it comes to public safety. Anytime a Dolton resident calls for help, there'll be a lingering doubt about the capability of the responding officers. It's a scenario that could deter people from seeking help when they need it the most, leaving the community vulnerable and fearful. The first question I can ask.
I'm not going to oppose that. I'm going to oppose it's going to teach people how to learn to fend for themselves and count on their neighbors. And it might result in a closer knit community. But in that's what's going to bring about a revolution. That's what's going to bring people up in arms. They're going to finally get tired of this. It happened. It's happened time and again over the entire course of history. Not one government has ever been successful.
I think Joe said a minute ago about should one refuse an unlawful arrest. Myself, I mean, I'm going to touch on that one because I think it's important. But I myself probably wouldn't resist an unlawful arrest. But I would remind you that justifiable homicide is still unenforceable. So if these people are kidnapping you and threatening your life, cautious.
Yep, absolutely.
Cautious.
There he is. What do you got, Danielle?
Sorry, I'm having internet issues apparently. But I was saying what I think is going on is people wised up to the capabilities of the powers we actually have and decided to take the opportunity to seize that power. Just like how Trump pointed out how all the politicians and people that make money have all those big tax breaks and get away with all that stuff.
Yeah,
I think that's what's going on right here.
Yep.
And I think
absolutely.
Not only that, I think it could also be a possibility, a plan, so that they were paid to do this, so that they can be as outlandish as they can be, so that when the powers take the step in to take that power away from them,
saving us. They're saving us.
Yeah, and going to make it much harder to take. I think that's what's going on right now.
We're going to beg for them to take power because our powerful people are run amok. You take power. Yeah, I see it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Now, Moonbug's got a thing down there, and this is a perfect question. This is the coffee bean case. I can't remember the guy's name, but he realized the difference between money and cash and all that. So I'm going to show you a definition. And this goes to, in what species do I have to pay, Judge, if there is no money?
I don't know what species is.
So this is coming from 7 U.S.C. 2012, which is agriculture, where an agriculture definitions define animal includes man. So there's your species in one sense. And when it comes to these negotiable instruments, species, on the other hand, is a coupon. Coupon means any coupon. Stamp. Do you get it, Joe? Stamp. Do you understand, people, why I'm so big on stamps? Type of certificate. That's the birth certificate. It's a type of certificate. Authorization card. That's the Social Security card that they give you after you fill out the SS5. That attaches to the birth certificate. That is attached to the statement of live birth that your mom gave. Cash or check issued in lieu of a coupon. So a coupon can be a stamp, a type of certificate, authorization card, cash, or checks are coupons. They're coupons. Obligations and other securities of the United States includes coupons. And you'll notice one of my big things in that same section is there's a perfect little statement in there from comma to comma, all lowercase, and it says stamps and other representatives of value.
I see this as under subsection G of something. Perhaps whatever section it's under, it is only talking about what happens in Walmart or the back room of a so-and-so.
This is agriculture, 7 U.S.C. 2012.
All right, agriculture. All right.
As used in this chapter, the term access device means any card, plate, code, account number, or other means of access including point of sale devices such as your computer, your laptop, your iPad, your phone, that can be used alone or in conjunction with another device to obtain payments, allotments, benefits, money, goods, or other things of value, or that can be used to initiate a transfer of funds under this chapter. So let's look at 15 U.S. Code 1602, which is foreign commerce, foreign trade. And this is another set of definitions. It says definitions and rules of construction. And we go down here and it says the term credit card means any card, plate, coupon book, or other credit device existing for the purpose of obtaining money, property, labor, or services on credit. It's all credit. It is not money. You obtain money, property, labor, or services on credit.
And that credit is spiritual credit.
Yes, it's the merits. Merits means spiritual credence. This is, if you wish equity, you must first bring equity. That means you must bring the spirit of the word and not the letter of the law. You must bring the intent, not the projection or reflection or obverse interpretations. It must be true to form, the living soul, wherein God formed man of the dust of the ground, and when he breathed the breath of life into his nostrils, man became a living soul. The identification identifies a man. It is still a person. So let's go back to the video. We'll finish up with this one, and then we got another one.
You gotta hire a new IT guy, Wizard.
Absolutely. And this is what I'm saying. If you're going to hire these people through, greetings, John. If you're going to hire these people in these political corporate positions, you are the one that's enabling them. If you don't want corrupt people, do not vote them in. Know their history. She had a criminal history before they voted her into trustee office. And then she served on the trust as trustee in that office for 8 years. Then they elected her mayor, and then she flipped the tables on them.
Can you imagine those 8 years? Sound like she was pulling some Machiavellian shit. She was, dividing the current mayor and the current council and taking a leadership in the council. Like, we need to do this. I'll take charge. She was setting herself up in that position from the
yeah,
start.
and she was saying that, talking about the old mayor in the same capacity. If these people are talking about her, saying, well, you have to bring forth the financial statements so we as the trustee can approve them. And she was enforcing that shit while she was a trustee. Now she's flipped the table and she's violating every last thing that she stated as a trustee during the 8 years. She learned all about the corruption and the ins and outs, and now she's playing that game. It's pathetic. So let's get back to the video. Oops, wrong one.
She even doing shit that the previous mayor would not even done. That signing her own checks and that shit. She's taking it to a new level.
Absolutely. She's not putting it before the trustees to see if they'll approve it. She's just bypassing them totally, and then won't give them access to the financial reports so they can oust her from office. She was locking the office down so they couldn't hold a meeting. Well, you know, our forefathers didn't have such a place. They went out to a local bar, and then the next time they met, they would maybe meet at a church. The next time they met, they might meet at one of their houses. They didn't have a public office place. It was just a public office holding. It was a capacity. It wasn't a place.
Gotcha. I understand.
Surprising to me anymore when it comes to this mayor and the things that she's doing. The only thing we can do is continue to report what's going on. She's getting more national attention. We need to continue to hold her accountable for these actions and keep.
Hey,
we
can
need
you
to continue holding. We need to continue holding all of them accountable.
can
Period.
you play something off my channel? It's a short I did about that mayor. If you go to my channel,
Can
bring
you
it.
can you
Joe
drop it in?
Cool. Just type in Joe Cool. I'm popular enough. I should pop right up. And go to the shorts. You'll see her face in there. It's timely for this. You're gonna crack up. It's about one of those trips she took. All right, keep going till you see her face. There she is. Yeah.
You make almost $300,000 between your two elected
I do not.
positions.
I do not. I don't know where you got that number from.
We got it from her own village and township record.
There she goes,
Mm-hmm.
dancing and partying, dancing and partying.
As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas?
Mm,
Caught her up in a lie right away. You didn't go to
Yes.
Vegas?
She was totally about to lie, right? She was.
Yeah, Wizard, they're coming after her big time. I heard
Yeah,
about
look-
her and I seen her.
Yeah,
What's
look
up,
at that
Terry?
smile on her face as she avoids it.
Busted.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I
she's
remember
back.
that. I remember that. I've
Yeah,
done
so do
a couple of reviews on her already, review videos on her already, and it's just that's what these people are doing. They will laugh in your face as they lie to you in
Yes.
the national news media and think that it's just water off a duck's back.
And after
it's
that,
pathetic.
he asked, did you fly first class? I think he asked her that too. And she's like, next question. I mean, I heard that too, that they had first class, all the rooms were first class, they flew first class. And she got a massive entourage, like 30 motherfuckers with her.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? They're hiding right in plain sight, right in the communities, man, right in the heart of the community.
Yeah.
Is that master commissioner that holds that SS-16 that I said, which is a religious organization. And, it's right there.
I don't know
I've
what a
heard
master
stories.
commissioner is.
Well, they're the ones that hold. Yeah, they
That's
hold the record for all the Social Security number, all the record
Okay.
of that social.
Yep, that's the county commissioner who is a tax auditor, and that is a military position, and that's why they mention federal, state, or municipal officer or agent, and not a county.
They're a receiver.
A county is a parish. That's
Really?
the military. That's the military leader and a chaplain.
And they're also considered a receiver of public funds.
Yep.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna.
I would assume the conversion is right there with that master commissioner within the court system.
Yep, and that conversion, I'm going to address Daddy's GPT. Does the definition of coupon, as you laid out, apply throughout the whole USD, or only as it pertains to that title? Let me explain something to you.
Yeah.
The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, for all banks, for all deposits of money, quote, whatever, is dependent upon the Federal Crop Insurance Agency. This is where all credit extends from, is for them to provide commodities and stuff. It's a conversion at the agricultural level. Animal includes man. They are literally treating you as animals, as a flock, as stock. And that's why they're called stock bonds. And it's your signature, unqualified, because you're a heathen and don't know how to put the correct words on there. Without recourse, pay to the order of Keith Little in all uppercase by and then your signature, and then below that, Keith Little in upper and lowercase, benefactor. That's as simple as it gets.
Is that why the Social Security card you guys talk about? That's what they're trading. That's what represents us. Is that what you guys are so big
Absolutely.
into?
They are taking the last name and converting it to a firm name, and the Social Security number, they are converting it to an obligor number.
And when they trade your card, your Social Security number, they are trading a promise with that, right? It's logical.
Right.
If they're giving them a name represents you, they're saying you're going to do something. Right? They're giving them a promise of something. Yeah.
Right. And that conversion of the Social Security number to an obligor number, and it's identified in their codes.
It's logical.
The obligor is responsible on the obligation.
It's
If
logical.
the obligor is identified by a number, then why are they saying you are obligated?
Is that master commissioner the gatekeeper and the underwriter?
The obligor, listen, it's real simple. If the obligor is liable on the obligation and the obligor is identified by a number, then why are they holding you?
I don't see I don't see why that would be a big deal if it's 100 of us in a room and Joe's number is 13. And then when they call 13, I come in, that number just held my position till I got there. I don't see the sin in necessarily having a number.
No, it's not a sin in having the number. It's a sin in the use of the number in commerce.
Isn't it conflict of interest?
That's in commerce rather than on credit. UCC 3-402B. If the authorized representative gives an unambiguous authorized signature on the instrument, he is therefore not liable for the person named in the instrument.
Oh man, that went over my head. But somebody said right. You got it that way.
If you're signing on the instrument, and an instrument is given to you, and there's a name in the instrument already. That's the name of the person.
All right, that's what you meant by N. All right.
Right. It's in the instrument. They gave you an instrument. The name is already in the instrument, and then they tell you to sign on it. You're not liable on it as long as you qualify that signature without recourse, pay to the order of, all caps name, by Keith Little, the lower caps name, benefactor.
All right, now I see where you're going.
Yep, that's an agent protection because you're volunteering, but you're not really signed in, like he's been saying for years. You're not contracted in properly.
Right. The name in the instrument is the agent. You are the representative of that agent.
I dig it.
Okay, let's continue on. We want to finish up, or no, we just finished up the other one.
Yeah, it was
the next one.
Yeah, it was only short.
This is the property tax shell game, and this is what they're trying to cover up. This is, Joe, you remember the towing company?
I remember a few different towing company shits that we talked about.
Pay attention to this. This towing company hasn't paid taxes in almost 20 years. And this is the towing company that's going around towing people's cars and getting money out of the community. And they're a nonprofit organization. They're placating a nonprofit organization.
Why have seen this one?
Oops. Somehow I lost my screen share. Let me get it back.
What's up, everyone? Hope you're doing well. I know I said in my last video it was a 2-part video, but now it's a 3-part video. I was recording and wrapping up the second part, and then I came across something, so that's on hold. And now I'm working on what I just discovered. I believe this is going to end up tying into part 3. So in my last video, I talked about a property tax shell game. Suburban businessmen linked to Alderman Kerry Austin and a federal investigation didn't pay taxes on properties for years, then bought up $861,000 of their own.
Okay, let's make sure that we're clear here. Again, all monetary systems are dependent on the Federal Crop Insurance Administration. That's where they get all commodities. It's called hypothecation. They convert agriculture to a commodity by paperwork. It is known as commercial. It is known as commercial paper, and it has to be deposited in financial institutions to receive its considerable value. And that is all stemming from the gross domestic products that every nation operates on. This is also the base of taxes that are already paid. It is the nation that goes forth, the president that goes forth in a postal Congress to pay taxes at the international level. Those taxes are a percentage of the gross domestic product that is then deposited in the IMF, and that is where in the original extension of credit exists.
Okay.
Everything is on credit. And when you start putting those credit terms on paper and don't qualify, and if you don't qualify the signature, then that credit gets, you are used as a pass-through and somebody else receives the credit. So when we think about what you put out returns back, that's circulation, and it's supposed to be your credit. If you gave credit to that document, it should come back to you. So when it's coming back to you through that instrumentation, you're supposed to know how to put the equal consideration on that, so that credit comes to you from the IMF and not as a pass-through.
In tangible terms, what are these credits that the government is getting off of me? What how are they using my shit?
When you go get a job,
Yeah.
it's called when you go get a job, it's called an employment. And when you fill out that application and you don't qualify that signature, because that's commercial paper, you're supposed to qualify the signature, and it has value amounts on there. It has dates. It has everything of a bill of exchange. And if you don't qualify it, they will use your credits and pay you for your labor. Now, when you get a check, you pay Social Security and federal insurance contributions. Those are put to the Social Security every quarter. You get so many credits. Those are known as insurance credits, and they go unclaimed.
Oh,
that's where your credits exist. All you got to do is claim the credits. Again, that homemade stamp, prepaid postage indicia, because you already have credit. They're already on account. And so you convert the number on the back to show the direct routing. That's a direct routing to the credits at the IMF.
Anybody else fucking I know you about 5 speed, Russ. You know anything about what he's talking about? You convert your credits. In this case, he's talking about to a stamp. I think he's talking about a literal post office stamp, because there you are due credits. Are you familiar with this thing happening?
Absolutely. What do you think a stamp is? Remember, the president goes forth in a postal Congress. And again, this isn't the operation of the Constitution of the United States. This is an operation of the Constitution of the Universal Postal Union. And the first article is freedom of transit throughout the entire territory is guaranteed. It's freedom of transit. You don't have a freedom to travel. You have a freedom of transit. Travel is a commercial term. Freedom of transit is part of a treaty negotiation, and that's relative to Psalms 121 verse 8. The Lord shall preserve the Lord preserves your going out and coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. That's the passport. That's called transit. You get to transit from point A to point B without any borders. Why? Because the land shall not be sold forever, for it is his. And ye are strangers and sojourners with him. Now, if he
So
gets
how?
to cross this American border, then why are you saying I can't? He's with me. Do you not see him? Do you not hear him? If you don't see your Father in me as an image and likeness, then you don't see me. And that tells me you're not operating under the word of God as that Constitution says you're supposed to.
That's most people shit. I should be able to.
Absolutely.
I should be able to travel through Egypt and not have any problems and shit. But you know, you got to get a passport, Joe. You got to get a real ID. You're a felon. We probably might not let you fly this month. Fucking Egypt. Are you kidding me? What are you here for? How long you gonna stay?
Well, that's why you have private communications with somebody in that foreign territory, somebody that you know, and they send you an invite. That's a private contract, folks. I don't care who the fuck they think they are. You cannot interfere with a private contract.
That was dope. Is anybody backing him up? Because all this shit sounds
No,
logical to me.
no,
I
no,
don't
no.
want to be out on the
He's
limb.
right. Wizard, you're right. But if you go to a different country, they ain't gonna take the invite. I've been to Egypt, I've been to Syria, I've been to other countries. If you don't have a passport, you ain't going nowhere.
Well, you may think so, but
No, I'm
that's
just
only
saying.
because that
Go
you
ahead.
may think so, but that's because nobody's been thinking of options and choices of their own. They're not
Maybe that's
creating
true.
remedies. Equity, you have to create your own remedy. Otherwise, if you're following statutes, codes, and rules and regulations, they don't have a remedy for such things.
Well,
They
flow
have
state
enforced.
when you need them.
You have. What do you mean, flow state?
Flow
State
need to
is
hear this shit.
Yeah, flow state. We don't need flow state. Flow state needs us.
That's
Don't
what.
mix it
Where
up.
is he when you need him? He needs to hear this shit because
Yeah,
this
we
is the
don't
shit he
need him.
says does not exist.
Where is flow state when he needs this? Not when
Yeah.
we need. I don't need him.
Yeah, Wizard knows way more than Flow State on this stuff by far. I mean, there's no. Yeah.
I think you guys have taken a whole different argument. I wasn't trying to say that we need flow state here for anything. Flow state, this is the message that he goes against all the time. He says these things don't
Absolutely.
exist, blah, blah. This sounds like strong evidence. He needs to hear this. That's all I was trying to say.
If the Lord shall preserve your going out and coming in from this time forth and even forevermore, and he knew you before he formed thee in the belly, before thou was cast from the womb, he sanctified thee and he ordained thee a prophet unto the nations in all of the lands which is his, which shall not be sold, because you are a stranger and sojourner with him. Then who the fuck is going to stop you?
Yeah.
They have to resort to an unequitable statute, code, rule, or regulation that says you have to apply in person when he is a respecter of no persons. And if you respect him under your laws of nations, saying that you recognize the scriptures as the foundation of common law.
Let me ask you, you're making me think of something. This guy, he gets stopped. He's kind of like Paul with the, don't do the driver's license shit. And his angle was, no, I can't get IDs and stuff. It's against my religion. It's against my beliefs. What do you think about that angle? I hadn't seen that before. I was like, that's brilliant. It sounds like you could use it now to travel. It's my religion. I can't get that passport. It's against my religion.
Well, let's show you what I think about that in John 8:14 through 20. It says, Jesus, Come on.
While he's reading that, Joe Cool, I can say that they don't care about your religion. I was recently arrested not too long ago, and I was forced to swear in, even though Matthew 35 says not to swear in.
John 8:14 through 20. Jesus answered and said unto them, though I bear record of myself, yet my record is true. For I know whence I come and whither I go. Again, Psalms 121, verse 8. But ye cannot tell whence I come and whither I go. Ye judge after the flesh. I judge no man. I judge
Very
their words,
good.
like I've always said. I judge not you. I judge the words you use.
Very good.
And yet, if I judge, my judgment is true, for I'm not alone, but I and the Father that sent me, because he is a sojourner with us. It is also written in your law that the testimony of two men is true. Romans 13, verse 8. I am one that bears witness of myself, and the Father that sent me beareth witness of me. Then they said unto him, Where is thy Father? Jesus answered, Ye neither know me nor my Father. If ye had known me, ye should have also known my Father. These words spoke Jesus in the treasury, as he taught in the temple, and no man laid hands on him, for his hour is not yet come.
Yes,
You
sir.
cannot deny the scripture. Like I said, folks, every last one of their laws, statutes, codes, rules, and regulations was based in scripture. It comes from scripture. Their passport comes from Psalms 121, verse 8. It's a test.
The SS-16 that I was talking about says a religious order or autonomous subdivisions of a religious order whose members are required to take a vow of poverty.
Yes, and the vow of poverty is not a vow of being poor. The vow of poverty, understand, is that when your cup gets full, you don't dump it into a bigger cup so you can keep filling your own cup. You let it overflow into other people and help quench their thirst.
Yeah,
that is the vow of poverty. That's relative. That is relative to the parable of the talents. You're not supposed to sit on your talent and hide them from others. You're supposed to let your cup overflow, so that if you go forth with 2 talents, you can come back with 4. If you go forth with 5 talents, you can come back with 10.
Very good.
And there's the only persons that can file for that SS-16. So you think they're keeping their vow?
Absolutely not.
I mean, I don't know what people can't comprehend in all of this, to be quite honest with you.
I don't know what an SS-16 is. I don't. When you say
Look it
that
up.
phrase, I don't know.
Look it up.
I can't.
Look it
I'm on
up.
the phone right now.
Well, when you get a chance, just write down Master Commissioner Form 16. Form SS-16. Master Commissioner Form SS-16. I'll put it in the chat.
I'll get it wrong right now.
Okay. Now let's get back to the video, because this is the one we're going to get into the taxes and the towing yard scheme. Oops.
For $26,000. And this is from 2019 from the Chicago Sun-Times. Now, what made this story from 2019 so interesting and relevant to today is this address right here, 1415 East 142nd Street. The owner, Mako Properties, has a company, 995 LLC, which is a donor to Tiffany Henyard. But on top of that, they haven't paid property taxes now for what appears to be almost 20 years. This property...
Recognize the towing company, Joe?
I recognize the story and all of that shit.
This is the towing company that took business from the other towing company that now has a suit against this towing company for doing so. And it's the mayor and the police department. This towing company is the impound lot for the police. And it's Tiffany Henyard that's hiring these police to go out and tow these cars to this lot. And it's destroying this other tow business.
Yeah, they said they got them acting out as spotters for this tow company. They can get there faster than anybody else and all of that.
Yep.
Is also tied to the Dolton police impound lot. Now, there's 2 properties involved, and the other property is relevant in this story as well. And here's a picture of the assessor's map, just to refresh your memory. And if you haven't seen my previous video, the green and red lots are tied to the Dolton police impound lot. they're just owned by separate entities. And if you haven't seen my video about it, I would recommend checking it out because there's a lot of shady things going on. And it's actually a prime example of how to exploit the system legally. Now, for some reason, I decided to see if Illinois was doing a property scavenger sale this year. They do on every.
I want to take a moment to address Lenny Malley's comment. I do not recognize their rules. I do not recognize their court systems. They are maritime law, and they are on land, which makes that treason. And all these commercial transactions are called privateering. So the Admiralty maritime law is law of the sea. And by the post, those are inland marine installations, an extension of the Navy, and it's the Global Postal Trust Services.
That's why you cats be harping on that maritime law, because naval laws would be different from whatever the other law. What the other law called?
It's removal of the common law, the law of the land. And that's what they're denying the people, is the common law, which is merged with equity. Okay? Equity was merged with common law. That's your solution. They're using statute. Statute is not a jurisdiction. You have 3 jurisdictions: civil, criminal, and military tribunals. There is no such thing as statutory jurisdiction. Statutory is letter of the law. Jurisdictions in actuality go by intent.
Every 2 years. And what that is, when you don't pay your property taxes, they auction off the debt to the highest bidder. And instead of owing the state, you owe someone else now. For example, in 2015, Mako.
It's that hypothecation and pass-through that I was talking about. You're not getting the credits because you didn't qualify the signature, so they hypothecate the security and pay to the order to themselves. That way they get the credits.
Properties 415 East 142nd Street had $23,363 worth of tax debt auctioned off, and it sold for $440 to another entity owned by Mako Properties.
Now, this is the buying and selling of debt. Okay? There's one entity that's the original creditor or holder of the debt, whatever, and they sell that debt to somebody else for collection. And that's the auctioning off. So somebody else bought that $23,000.
In this case, the tow yard, the same owners of the tow yard bought that debt.
Right. They bought their own debt for $440,000.
Oh, it was their own shit they bought.
Right. For $440.
That's slick.
Right. And now they're going to transfer the credits to pay off the debt, but any excess credits they still get.
So now they got extra money.
Right. So at $440, they transfer the credits by doing a set-off.
So that cannot be right. It look like they just got a free 20-something grand or something.
Wait till you hear what they do with the properties and taxes that are just pay attention.
Now, this appears to be legal, but it's borderline gray area. You're not allowed to buy your own tax debt back. The thing is, they're technically not. It's a different entity, although it may be.
Oh, that was in here. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was with somebody else. They were looking for the cat.
Yeah.
Be controlled by the same person. They are 2 separate entities. And
that's the endorsement. Remember, you pay to the order of Keith Little, all uppercase, and you sign it by Keith Little, upper and lowercase. Those are 2 different entities.
Right.
That's how they're doing this, folks. I guarantee you. They are taking the credits that have not been accepted yet and then turning around and endorsing them in a different name to buy them off.
Well, I can see the argument that you're technically not buying back.
Go ahead.
You know, what I find interesting is the sheriffs, how, if you look in the sheriff's constitution and the bylaws, it tells you, right, it says right in there, to encourage the protection of the jurisdiction of the sheriffs as a constitutional / statutory officer. Now, is he a sheriff or a revenue agent?
Well, see, and that's why they use that / Again, it's a substitution, just like the last name, firm name. When I showed you on that document, financial index from the court, it says / firm. That means they can substitute one for the other. And you can clearly see it on that form. They substituted the firm name for the last name, and it was just LITT in all uppercase. They also substituted the social security number with the obligor number. That's what they're doing in every case.
Yeah, you're holding an office.
Right. They're substituting the situation, or substituting things because you didn't qualify it. That means they get to substitute their name for yours, their number for yours. They're doing it in every case that you do not qualify that signature.
Interesting.
Your own debt. I actually think it's pretty genius, just like some of the other things they were doing. Anyways, when you browse through the list, you definitely see a lot of interesting characters from my previous videos. And one of them, including the mayor of Dolton herself, Tiffany, the woman who's trying to raise property taxes by 5% on all of her residents, isn't paying the property taxes, at least on this property. I don't even know what to say here. She doesn't want to pay her property tax.
Absolutely. How ignorant is that? You're going to demand that your residents pay me my taxes, yet she's not going to pay the taxes herself.
Y'all better have my money. I think that's the record she was playing when she was telling them, y'all go pay them taxes.
Y'all better pay me my taxes. Y'all going to bring me my money. Yeah. It's fucking pathetic.
Don't make me send out the boys.
She wants to raise property taxes by 5% on everyone else? Huh?
Picture
it's a vacant residential lot, including taxes. She owes about $2,070, just slightly under that. As we know, this isn't her first dabble in real estate. I covered that in a previous video, how she had a rental property that kept being deemed uninhabitable. Somehow she was still able to collect the Section 8 rent, while the tenant was moved to a hotel and paid for by the taxpayers on Dolton's dime. Now, when you scroll through the list, you see a lot of interesting players. You see Mako Properties and Elizabeth Williams. And as we know, that's the entire Village of Dolton police impound lot, 1409 and 1415 East 142nd Street. So it appears the Village of Dolton gave an impound contract to people who don't even pay their taxes to the Village of Dolton. You know, the Village of Dolton is giving them contracts to make money. They make that money and then don't pay the property taxes when they're conducting their business. Now, there's
and this is what I would file a 14242 on: evasion of trust, evasion of tax payments in trust. Let me pull that up real quick. IRS form 14242.
But it's the tow company that's evading, and it's not the government is helping them, but it's the tow company that's evading.
Right. Abusive trust tax evasion schemes.
Hold on, somebody asked me, do I have
Who gave the towing company their license, Joe?
Hold on, I gotta see something.
This is IRS form 14242. And this can be used in any case. Everything is a trust. Everything is a trust. And if you're not the taxpayer and they're charging you taxes, it's because you and them are purporting that you are the person. And you and your, according to the U.S. Code, means a person who owes a debt to the United States. That is the taxpayer. If you don't owe a debt to the United States, then why are you paying taxes? By paying taxes, you implicate yourself as the you. Let's go back to it.
There's a couple other names on here too. Like we see Patricia, for example. That's the owner of George's Towing, the woman who's suing the village of Dolton because she can't get that business license. And then if we look down, we see an Alex T. Pecule, and that's a person with the same last name as the owner of GTS Towing that's now bankrupt, of GTS Recovery that was recently dissolved in December of 23. They both shared the same address, and who was also the same owner of GTS Towing in Indiana, which was formed right before GTS Towing in Dolton dissolved. I know it gets confusing. Then there's one more name on here, and they're on here quite a bit. We see a Bobby Coleman. Bobby owns all of the properties starting from the 025 parcel, going all the way down. And it basically ends even with the JTS Recovery / GTS Indiana lot. Here's an image of the Dolton Police Tow Yard and then the Bobby Coleman lots. Now, he owns both lots, the white and the green. The green lot does have a JTS towing sign, so he does appear to be tied to them. And then the other lot, it has a very old faded sign on it that says police something. You can't make it out, so I'm not sure if that's tied to JTS or not. And this is the satellite map again, just for reference. And everything highlighted in green is what's behind in taxes and may be auctioned off. Now, this raises a couple questions. Is the property tax shell game still going on? Are Mako Properties going to buy that 415 East lot back again for the fourth time for pennies on the dollar? Then we have to ask, has the same thing been going on with...
And I want to address again, Lenny Malley. He seems to be a knowledgeable neighbor, and absolutely, taxes are to be freely given. Tax comes originally from the term "tis," which means gift. You give gift freely.
Is that anywhere written in law somewhere in their law?
I don't believe so. They do not have the
definition of taxes as a gift, and therefore,
right.
Yeah.
But it comes from "tis" as a noun means a 10th part.
That's what tithe comes from. It's 10th. Okay.
Right.
And you didn't give money
1/10.
either. You gave food and such.
Right. That's how I think. I do give bread. Like if anyone I see on the street corner, I get them bread. But I try to give up myself and do shit myself. And that's how I be like, yeah, I did my tithe by helping this person or those people.
Yes, and it can be done in physical labor too.
I do both.
And so it doesn't actually mean a 10th in tax. It
Right.
means a gift.
I do that, like, I don't know, just doing shit for, cutting the neighbor's grass for them or anything like that. I consider that shit me putting in my little portion to help other people.
Right, and it has to do with merits again, because again, he who this is a faithful saying that I will that thou constantly affirm. He who believed in God, be careful to maintain good works, not profitable works. So your intent isn't supposed to make profit, but to have a good effect.
Praise God.
GTS Towing, JTS Recovery, and GTS Indiana, along with Elizabeth Williams, I tie all them together because they share the same address. GTS in Dolton and JTS Recovery in Dolton share the same address, and then Elizabeth Williams and GTS Towing and Sons in Indiana also share the same address. I haven't found any proof that they've been doing the same thing as the Nitchkoffs, who own Mako Properties, or the 1415 East lot, but they are connected to them, like their lots are connected. And then when you look at the GTS Towing bankruptcy, and then how JTS Recovery just dissolved in December of 23, it really makes you wonder if they're doing the same thing. Now, this leads a lot of questions to the village of Dolton as well. Like, aren't they supposed to do due diligence before they hand out like a police impound contract? And when they hand out these contracts, aren't they supposed to make sure that they make money, it's in their best interest, and the citizens benefit? How do the citizens benefit from entities getting a police impound contract and then never paying the property taxes and stuff? So how could she justify raising property taxes on the citizens when she doesn't even make sure that her donors or the entities the village awards contracts to pay their taxes? How does
And that's why they're trying to push the tax increase, because again, it's a capitalist system. So they're going to capitalize on everything they can, period. And again, Daddy's GPT says, would you look at 26 USC 7806? And I've looked at it many times, and that's why we come to these kind of discussions. So let's take a look at it, and we'll show you what he's talking about. It says, this is 26 U.S. Code 7806, construction of title. This is the base foundation of taxing. This is the base foundation of the code. It's the construction. It has to have a foundation. And the foundation clearly says the cross references in this title to other portions of the title or other provisions of law where the word "see" is used are made only for convenience and shall be given no legal effect. So anything referencing taxes shall be given no legal effect. Why is that? Because taxes are voluntary, people. They're voluntary. So when you pay taxes, it's a gift to them, and you have to understand this.
I didn't understand that code you just showed.
The foundation of the tax code is given no legal effect where referenced to other sections of the code or law. Because it's contradictory. It's contradictory because the law is required, whereas taxes are voluntary. Taxes are not law.
That's dope. I'll be asking you again for that shit. All right, I'm screenshot it. I got it.
Does that make any sense? Make it make sense, Tiffany. And then as far as her not paying all of her property taxes in the village she's the actual mayor of, and not to mention she's the supervisor of Thornton Township. So she supervises and oversees that whole area. Not to mention, it's been reported she makes over $250,000 a year. What the? And then you have to ask, because she's had failed businesses in the past, we see the property tax shell game going on with her donor. Is she pulling the same thing? It's a legitimate question. I'm not accusing her of that, but is she? I mean, look at how she milked Good Burger. Look at the whole rental thing. Everything she's involved in, she appears to have some sort of extra angle. So there has to be an angle here. There just has to.
Damn.
Because there's no way a woman making over $250,000 a year can't afford to pay a $2,000 tax bill. Come on now. Anyways, I just wanted to get this out before my next video because I believe it's all going to tie in. And how crazy is it that I was just talking about this shell tax game and all the failed businesses with the police impound lot, and then we find out the entire police impound lot hasn't paid their taxes and aren't up to date. Just insane. Especially.
Yes, it is. It is pure insanity, folks. Pure insanity. And I want to address Lenny Malley. Because if you guys don't know my story, and you don't understand the passion that I speak in, when you see that, I get angry. My son passed on of what they call SIDS when he was 6 months old.
What does that mean? Was it? I'm sorry.
My son passed on. My son passed on of SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, when he was 6 months old. And had I known back then what I know today, I would have never given him the vaccinations. as I know it today, I firmly believe that that was the problem. And I'm going to tell you, driving to the neighbor took me to the hospital, and on the way there, I'm trying to breathe the breath of life back into my son. The very gift that God gives us.
That's right.
To be able to emulate him in that image and likeness.
That's nice.
Saying that we are redeemers. Saying that we are supposed to redeem our brothers and the land. And the one thing I couldn't do for my son. So yeah, I'm angry.
Can I ask, how
Very
long
angry.
after the vax did he develop complications?
He died 2 days before my birthday. We buried him on my birthday.
How
6
long?
months.
How long
6
after
months.
the vax did he develop?
Almost immediately.
Okay.
It was just a couple days prior to that.
All right, gotcha. Yeah, I'd be thinking the same thing. Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm very angry about that situation. I have to be able to forgive, though. I can't go at them because I really don't know the truth. But I do know deep in my heart that no matter what happens, again, it's my fault. I'm the one that thought we should vaccinate him. I'm the one that didn't understand physician, heal thyself. I'm the one that didn't understand that God gives us instructions to follow her laws and not the statutory laws. I'm the one that didn't understand that I'm a man of the land, which is his, and I came from that land. I'll go back to that land, and during my entire journey in this world, I am with him and he is with me, whether I recognize that or not. This is the cognitive dissonance. This is what the problem with the public education system is. They put you put your children in that public education system and destroy their spirituality. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I was looking at I'm zoomed in on his weed plant up there. I thought he was trimming the same one. He got different plants and shit. Okay.
So yeah, it's amazing that the corruption continues, but I'm telling you, it's amazing only because the cognitive dissonance is so deep, and it's truly our fault. We are the leaders. We just don't recognize it. We keep reaching out for that earthly king. And again, there is but one Father which art in heaven, and he gives you the immutable promise to seek his counsel. And that's what we're destroying. We're seeking the counsel of public education system to bring our children up in ideologies that are totally false. I urge people, please, 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 stop.
All right, buddy. On that note, I'm going to get to work, man. I should have got started. This was great, Wizard. I'll be by. If I ever see you doing one of these, I'll be by. Catch
Yeah,
me.
Wizard. I mean, yeah.
Thank you.
Stuff, Wizard.
We'll see you, Joe.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, it's still hard to talk about.
I know, Wizard. It's
tough. Still hard to talk about. It's still hard to hold back. Not because of my son, but because of the vision I see this world coming to. You are destroying your own children.
See the message. I'm obliterating you, but we already knew that. No, see, it's not about the message. It's about the medium he used to draw on our face. It makes sense.
You know what? Sometimes I see, I actually think a change is really coming. So it ain't for nothing. I do believe.
I'll never stop.
Me either.
Again, it
Me
is
either.
not my child. It is not your children. We are all children of the Most High.
Yeah.
Anybody else with
Absolutely.
any words on the way out? Anybody else with some words on the way out?
I just end as I usually do. Be the change you wish to see, people. And within that change, always remember popularity without a positive purpose is valueless. I love you. Many blessings. Love you, Keith.
Thank you, brother. Have a blessed day. Anybody else?
Thank you. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Have a blessed day.
Yep.
Wizard, we love you. Stay strong, brother. And I'll see you on Paul's or tomorrow.
Thank you, brother. Be blessed.
Yep. You too.
Stay strong, Wizard. If you need anything, just let me know.
You too, brother. We missed each other yesterday. I had the link and everything ready for you. I don't know if you didn't get that email or what, but I sent it to you.
When I checked this morning, it's in my spam. So it never said I got an email.
Okay. And that's something else I'll mention real quick here, folks. If you go through my email, you send me an email and I get it and I send you back something back, check your spam, because with a private hybrid email, it may not want to send it to your regular folder. It sometimes will send it to spam folders because it's a private hybrid email. Okay. So if you're expecting any communications from me, always check your spam. And with that, folks, I'm going to put you guys in the back. We'll go ahead and chat after the stream. And with that, folks, I want to thank everybody for joining me today. Again, I ask you, stop volunteering to the idiocy. And with that, I want to thank everybody for your support. There's a PayPal link down below for anybody who wants to share some love. Be sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Get this information out there, and let's get this show on the road. Get off your asses and do something.